Thank you. Awesome. So we're just going to do a few or go over a few housekeeping items here first. So we just wanted to go through kind of what to expect for this week. So I know when we reached out to all of you, we were talking about it will be a 1-week skill series. So we really encourage you to participate in the entire week of events that we have planned for you. We have actually sent you some resources in your UMass email. So if you have not received those or you haven't checked through your email yet, please make sure that you go through the list of resources because we will be covering them. And then you can also prepare for each session by doing a few items before you attend. So what to expect, we want you to feel comfortable having a conversation with us this week. We don't want it to just be us talking to you the entire time. We'd like to help answer any questions that you may have throughout the entire week of programs. And feel free to put any comments or questions in the chat feature so we can address those as well. Again, like I mentioned, we want your full participation so you get the maximum amount of information out of this series. And then we want you to also keep setting goals for yourself. So we're going to walk through what SMART goals are this week, and then we'd like for you to continue building upon that even after this series. So we want you to keep in touch with us. Come see us in person when you're back in the fall, and then you'll get the most out of your career skills. So we're going to get started here. I'm going to stop share for a moment. And I'd like for each of you to, if you can just please unmute yourself and introduce yourself by name, your class year, your major, and maybe what's something you're looking forward to this summer. So if anyone would like to get started, you may unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Matt Kilmartin. I'm a freshman. I'm a legal studies and poli-sci major. And something I'm looking forward to this summer is I got an internship through the Greenfield Court Service Center. So.
Oh, awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Rising junior, and my majors are journalism and communication, and I'm looking forward to possibly applying for an internship this summer.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Who would like to go next?
I can go. Hello everyone, my name is Asosa Osunde. I am a rising sophomore and my major is economics. And this summer, the major thing I was looking forward to was the good weather.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kisan, and I'm a rising sophomore. And the thing I look forward to this summer is going to St. Louis, I guess.
Yes, great.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. So we always just like to start off with some introductions so you get to know each other and who's in the room with us today. So let me share my screen again. All right. So Carol, if you'd like to get started on Pathways.
Sure. So one of the unique things about SBS is that we kind of look at your time while you're in college in a holistic way. So often when people think about college, it's kind of focused on academics and what classes you're going to take and what you're going to major in, and you know, all of the academic things that you will do while you're here. And that's all really important, but it's also not everything that is important to do in college. And so what we know is that ultimately, to be successful in your job search and in your career, there are other things that you need to be doing while you're in college to get yourself ready. And so you need to be having taking advantage of different experiential opportunities. So maybe you're going to study abroad, or maybe you're going to try out being a research assistant or getting a research internship. Maybe you're going to volunteer in the community. Maybe you're going to get involved with some clubs or activities on campus. And so all of those are experiential opportunities that you can take advantage of that are helping you to build skills in things like communication and leadership and teamwork and critical thinking and lots of things that some you get in your academics and some you get in your experiential learning while you're there. And then the other part of your pathways is the career pathway, and that is kind of a combination of your academics and your experiential opportunities that help you sort of think about where you want to go after UMass. And so those things can help prepare you for internships, for jobs on campus, and ultimately for help you kind of sort out where you want your first pathway to take you after you go. In SBS, most of our majors don't have a specific kind of job path, so it can be a little bit confusing to figure out where your major is going to take you. And so what's important is for you to take classes that are interesting to you, develop your skills through your experiential opportunities, and then both of those things will inform kind of what your next step will be after UMass, whether it's a job, whether it's grad school, whether it's a fellowship or something like that. So that's kind of the gist of the Pathways program and how we look at it in SBS about kind of the holistic view of your time while you're at UMass. Okay, and so one of the ways that we have to help you kind of explore your thinking about what career path you might want to take, we have a new website, which we just launched a month or so ago. And part of our new website is this piece called Career Communities. And this is a way for you to learn about different kind of industries or sectors in the vast world of careers. And it can kind of help you get started in thinking about whether that particular pathway is the one that you're interested in taking, or exploring a different one, and maybe you want to try to shoot for that one. And so career communities are a way that we've developed to try to help you learn about different career sectors in a more in-depth way. So Rachel, if you want to go out to the website.
All right, let me share for a moment. Web page. All right. Okay.
Great. Okay, so why don't you go to Career Communities, and we can just look at the first one, which is Advertising, PR, and Marketing. And so all of the career communities are set up in basically the same way. And so there'll be some information about the industry itself. You can scroll down a little bit. And then each of them is going to show you some alumni, recent grads who are working out in this industry and kind of where they work, what their title. A lot of those will link out to their LinkedIn profile, so you can see a little bit more maybe about where they did internships, or what their career path has been since they left UMass. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, there'll be some articles, and some of these are specific to the career industry, and some of them are just going to be kind of general good information for everybody to have when they're thinking about jobs. Then each career community has a jobs and internships section, and these are going to show you jobs and internships that are specific to this industry. So it's kind of a nice way to filter those jobs and internships. And then there's a sampling of relevant courses that you might consider taking if you are interested in this industry. And because our majors don't have a direct path to a particular career in most cases, we're showing you kind of classes across the SBS majors that you could take that would still be relevant to a career in this industry. And that can also give you exposure to different majors if you're not quite decided on what you want to major in. So then experiential opportunities, these are ways that you could connect with alumni, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later in the week when we go over the signature programs, but these are ways that you could get experience working or connecting with people who are working in this industry. And then we have student success stories and resources that some of these, again, are going to be just kind of general resources that are important for all career communities. And some of them are going to be more specific, like opportunities in public affairs is somewhat more specific to careers in advertising, PR, and marketing. So that's, and then we have some featured videos that are relevant to the industry as well. So that's kind of the general overview of what a career community is. And as I said, all of the pages are set up relevant in this way, but with information that's relevant to that career community. I noticed the events tab there because it's summer. We don't have very many events listed right now, but once we get going, the events that show up there will be relevant to the career community that you're in. Does anyone have any questions about the career communities or comments? Anybody want to say anything?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for showing us how to navigate the website. It was a bit difficult when I first saw it like 2 nights ago. Thank you.
Okay, sure. If you would be willing to email us and let us know what was challenging about it for you. You know, it's a new website for us and we're still working on trying to make it be as user-friendly as possible, so that if there were specific things or if it was overwhelming or whatever it was, if you could let us know what that is, we're definitely open to feedback because we want it to be the most useful as possible for you. So we're going to take a minute now. One of the nice things about this new website is that you can sign up to receive a weekly email or a daily email or a monthly email, but weekly is what we're recommending, by selecting your preferences, the things that you want to receive information about. So if you have a couple of different career communities that you want to know about jobs or internships that are recently posted, or about upcoming events or articles that were posted or anything like that, you can select that in your preferences. And then in your weekly email, the information that you're receiving is going to be very tailored to what you want to see, rather than just kind of a general email where you have to sort through things that aren't necessarily relevant to you. So what we'd like to do is take a minute now and have you all log into the website and select your preferences. And Rachel, can we just look at how they would do that? So
Yes.
at the top, they go to log in. And everybody already has an account, so this is just single sign on. You're going to sign on with your UMass login info.
And Odessa, do you mind just dropping in the chat the URL for the webpage?
Yep, I'll do that right now.
Thank you. It's always just harder to get the bar up when you're sharing screen.
Yeah, definitely.
So Odessa's going to drop the URL for each of you. So if you could just click on that and then follow along with us, that would be excellent. So we're going to go to the login feature at the top. And then do you want me to sign in or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe go back and do the net ID. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you click on your name and go to preferences. So because we're developing the website and we want to know everything that students are getting, Rachel has selected all of the check boxes, but this is where you can select your preferences about the information that you want to know about. So whatever box you check here, and most of you probably won't be checking full-time jobs because you're either a rising sophomore or a rising junior, and so you're probably more interested in internships right now, so you would select that one. And then you can select the kind of events you're interested in, so a blog, those are really just the articles that we post. The system calls them blogs. So you can select the kind of blog article information that you want to receive. You probably want to select for your major. And then here's the career communities that you can select from. We also have some kind of DEI specific communities or other specific communities. So if you're a first generation student, if you're a student with a disability, if you're qualified for the Academic Fellows Program, if you're an international student, you can check any of those that are relevant. And then, the list just continues, and all of these are going to filter for the information that you receive in the weekly email.
Great.
So you can go ahead and update those on your own profiles. And those weekly emails come out on Wednesdays. So you can take a look at those. And if it turns out that there's information in there that isn't what you want to see or what you're interested in, you can always go back and change your preferences or add, maybe you've decided you're interested in an additional career community, or you want to switch career communities or something like that, or any of these other sectors. You can always go back and adjust.
Great, thank you, Carol.
Yep. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay.
All right. So still staying on the webpage here. So we always find it helpful just to assist you with navigating this new page. So something that we wanted to pull up now is this really awesome tab. It's called How Do I? And this tab is one of the most useful ones on this website, because if you have a general question, a career question, anything along like academic, experiential, and career, like the 3 pillars of the Pathways model, it's most likely you could be finding it underneath this tab, How Do I, right here. So for us today, we're going to start with, how do I assess my skills and interests? And by clicking on this, as it mentions here, self-discovery is the first step in finding your career path. So something that's really important as you begin the career development cycle is understanding more of who you are as a person. So what are your values? What are your areas of interest? Again, going back to the career communities, what may be your industries of interest? And you can have multiple, and that's totally fine as well. So we do have a few different resources on this page. So kind of as Carol was mentioning, if you scroll down here, you'll see all the list of featured resources. One that we'll start going through today is the career development cycle, which I just referenced. But something that we'd like for you to take some time to complete, perhaps after the session today, since it's fresh in your mind, is the Focus 2 assessment. So again, that's going to pull out, what are your personal strengths and interests? Maybe what are your values as an individual, and what might you value in the workplace? So as you're navigating your career pathway and you're thinking of, what are some potential internships that I can get involved in, or what are some experiential opportunities? This will help make things a little bit more clear for you once you have that stronger sense of self and that stronger identity of knowing who you are and what you can bring to a team. So we'd really like for you to take advantage of this resource here. And then feel free to look through this page as well. Again, I got here by going to the How Do I tab, and then assess my skills and interests. You scroll down, you pick which resources may benefit you the most. Or if you're curious to learn a little bit more about what you can do with your major, there's also this really helpful tool here as well.
So I just want to add a little piece about the Focus 2 self-assessment or any of the other self-assessments that are here. So one of the things that comes up in your results for these self-assessments is a list of jobs that are potentially a good fit for you. And some of the jobs that come up in that list will seem, your response to that will be, oh yeah, that makes sense. And some of the other jobs that come up for you in the list will probably not seem very obvious, or even will seem kind of surprising to you. And that's all good information to have as you're sort of trying to sort through where your interests are going to take you. And so, for example, when I first took the Focus 2, one of the results that came up for me was casino manager. And that was a little surprising to me and not really very close to what I'm doing. But if I really think back about it, when I was in college, I started out in hotel school and like a hospitality management program. And ultimately I ended up going more like the psych-soc direction, which is more closely aligned to the work that I'm doing now. But maybe there was some piece of the way that I responded to the self-assessment questions that was still picking up on that hospitality thing. And that's why the casino manager item came up for me. But so when you get this list, the point is like, take the list of jobs that comes up for you with a little bit of a grain of salt, but also put your focus on the ones that do seem like they make sense for you, that when you see them, you're like, oh yeah, I'm interested in that. And that can help kind of guide you moving forward.
Thanks for clarifying that. I do remember you talking about that now that you bring it up. So absolutely, such a great point. All right, going back to the slides. So I kind of touched upon the career development cycle just very briefly, but something that I wanted to introduce you to is, so there's 6 total steps in the career development cycle. However, we may only get through about 3 or 4 of these steps during this week of programs. But just so you know, let's say you're participating in an internship and your internship concludes. So after you complete all 6 steps, that doesn't mean that your career development cycle ends. Something to take note of is that this is a continuous process that you will continue to build upon, and you'll learn new skills each experience that you put yourself through, right? So every internship experience is going to be different for you. Every, let's say you participate in an RSO and you sign up for a club or organization and you have an executive board position, that's going to look different for every single club or organization that you're part of. So again, the career development cycle is continuous. So it's not just going to end once you complete step 6. But today, so we already started with step 1. So you all should know now how to learn a little bit more about yourself by utilizing some of the resources we have on our webpage. And then going into step 2, we're going to talk a little bit more about, what you can do with your UMass degree, how to connect with alumni and classmates. We're going to walk through that as you go through the networking session this week as well. And then continuing to build your skills by using some guides that we provided you with. So again, referencing that email that we sent on Friday, that's the list of SBS resources that we'll be covering today, and we'd like for you to take advantage of using. And then you're attending a workshop today, so you're already starting on your career development cycle. So thinking to yourself, perhaps what do you want to accomplish this week? What's that goal for yourself that you're going to set today that you can maybe meet by the end of this week or the end of this series? And what are you going to continue building upon after the fact? And then step 4, developing your strategy. We'll talk about when jobs will be posted during the handshake session tomorrow, which Odessa will be covering. So she'll go through that towards the end of our presentation today. And once you've kind of mastered those first 4 steps, you might be ready to take action and go into step 5. So that's when you're going to meet with us to go through mock interview prep. Perhaps you'd like for us to run through your resume and cover letter with you, making sure that it's tailored to each specific job or internship you're applying to. And then step 6, reflection. So that's really important in the career development cycle. Why? Because you're taking something new from each experience, as we referenced before. So nothing is going to look the same. And perhaps taking a moment, stepping back and saying, okay, what did I really enjoy about this experience? So that's important to know as well. So going kind of back to knowing yourself, your skills and your values, it comes full circle towards the end. So you can really reflect on what you took the most out of in that experience, or maybe how you want it to look different next time. So that's why this is really important to reflect on. Anything that I may have missed in the career development cycle? Good.
I don't think so. You know, like Rachel is saying, it's a continuous cycle, and so by attending this workshop and getting started on learning about the career development cycle, you're building a muscle, you're building a skill that's going to last you throughout your life. So, you know, when you leave UMass, it's not just that you get one job and that's the end, and you don't need to know how to get jobs again, because you'll have many jobs throughout your life. And so by attending this workshop, by building these skills, by learning about the career development cycle, you're building a lifelong skill that will really set you up well.
Thank you. All right, Odessa, do you want to introduce the career competencies?
Yes, so these are the NACE career competencies. NACE is an acronym that stands for the National Association of Colleges and Employers. So they're really the leaders in the industry studying what are employers looking for and how can we best prepare students to be in the best light with applying to jobs and internships. So these are the kind of 8 core competencies that you really want to be thinking about cultivating during your time at UMass, and what you want to really exemplify on things like your resume and your cover letter as you apply to positions. And when you're really thinking about, you know, a lot of you right now are looking at starting internships or applying to different internships. An internship really is a space to learn and grow. And so most internships aren't expecting you to have every technical skill, but they do want you to come into it with these types of competencies so that they know that you're going to be a good employee, you're going to get the work done and have those abilities to grow within that position. So they are career and self-development, which signing up for this week program, you're already on your way to doing that. And that's really important to building those professional skills. And you'll be learning so much this week in that category. So that's awesome that you're all here. And then there's communication. And so that's both written communication, verbal communication, really important, right? When thinking about starting a position or doing an interview or even writing your application materials. And we're going to go a lot more into that on Wednesday. I'm doing a workshop on resumes and cover letters. So you'll learn all about that as well. Then there's critical thinking, equity and inclusion. That's, you know, really been a bigger topic than ever after this past year, and employers are looking for that. So the more that you can exemplify that that's on your mind, that's really great. Leadership, always going to be at the core. Professionalism, as I mentioned, teamwork and technology. So when you think about these competencies, you know, these are things that you're learning in the classroom, in jobs that you have, whether it's, you know, a service job or babysitting, you can show that you have these skills from the different experiences you have, even if you haven't had an internship or professional experience yet. And so we're going to teach you this week of how to exemplify that, and really just always coming back to these competencies as this is what employers want, this is what they're looking for.
Great, very well said. Thank you, Odessa.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Odessa. I just want to touch on one thing on the career competencies, just because I think a lot of students aren't aware of it. So the technology competency there at the bottom. So you all you're digital natives, so you have a lot of skills that often don't end up making it into written form on your resume. So that's one thing that we're going to talk about. But also employers more and more are are looking for students who just have a little bit extra. And because you're in SBS, you're not in computer science, you might think that you're at a disadvantage in that regard. But there's something called the IT minor, which is sort of computer competencies for non-computer science students. And so I recommend that you look into that and see if that's something that you would like to add to your academics, because it will give you some pretty good baseline skills in a wide variety of technology that will kind of set you apart from your classmates who don't have those skills. So you can find information about the IT minor on the new website. Under academics, there's something called minors and certifications, and information on the IT minor will be there.
Great. Are there any questions before we move forward? Thank you for sharing that as well. All right, so just getting into the final piece of our workshop today. So we've been talking a lot about goals. So I don't know if any of you have actually heard of SMART goals before, but we're going to walk through those today, and we'd like to partake in an exercise with you after we walk through this. So here's an example of a SMART goal using the template that I actually sent you through that email again. So if you can pull up that resource page as well, that would be helpful. So this is a sample here. So let's say you're looking to apply for a fall internship opportunity. A SMART goal is, I will research and apply to fall internships posted on Handshake by the end of summer vacation for the purpose of developing my professional skills and career competencies so that I can gain more professional experience in the working world in order to get a job after graduation. So reading through that, right, processing that for a moment, let's take a look at what is not a SMART goal. I will apply to fall internships. So seeing the huge difference here, right? The first goal is more loaded. So it talks about a specific task that you're hoping to accomplish. So the acronym SMART goals stands for specific, measurable, right? So is this something that you can hold yourself accountable for? Is this something that you're going to accomplish by the end of summer vacation? If not, you can make changes to that portion of your goal. The A stands for attainable. Is it something that's like realistic to you and something that pertains to this point in time? So if you are looking to apply for fall internships, yeah, now's a great time to do it during summer vacation. And then relevant. So again, going back to realistic and relevant, is it relevant at this point in time? Or perhaps do you want to wait till the spring semester or maybe next summer to look for future internship opportunities? Maybe you're partaking in a summer job and you don't have enough hours to dedicate at this point in time to the internship. So maybe revisiting a different time. And then, of course, time bound is the T portion of the SMART goal. So again, just holding yourself accountable. So see here how I listed by the end of summer vacation. So of course, that's all the way up until now through the end of August. So is that enough time for you to accomplish that goal of applying to fall internships? Or maybe you want to revisit this goal and say, okay, I want to be a little bit more specific. And I'm going to say, I will research and apply to 3 fall internships posted on Handshake, right? So even just going back and reading through my goal, I'm taking note right now that I could have even been a little bit more specific to hold myself more accountable. Whereas the not SMART goal example, so I will apply to fall internships, that's not telling me like what time I'm working on that. It's not telling me the number of internships I'm looking to apply to. It's also not telling me enough information about maybe what are my areas of interest. So maybe you want to revisit your SMART goal and again, be a little bit more specific about what industry that you're looking to apply for internships in. So as you go through not only this SBS summer series, but throughout your time at UMass, we always highly encourage students to partake in these SMART goals because they are very helpful in setting those, whether it's large goals or small incremental goals for yourself, because that's going to help you feel a lot more accomplished, right? So when we take the time to work on a goal, making sure it's realistic and timely, that's going to make us feel better once we accomplish that task, rather than just saying, okay, I need to get an internship by the end of my time at UMass. Make it more specific, like what area, when are you going to do it? What are you going to do now that's going to help you tomorrow get one step closer to your goal? So for that reason, I'd like to take a moment and practice with all of you. So if you can pull up the SMART goals worksheet that I sent. So this just walks you through all the different portions of the SMART goal, but we'd like to give you a moment to take some time and actually work on drafting a SMART goal. So for you, if you use this template, you can come up with one SMART goal just for today for the fall semester, or perhaps maybe you want to create a SMART goal for the end of your summer, right? If there's something you're looking to accomplish in the next few months, take the time now to reflect and write that up. And then if anyone would like to share a goal that they came up with, we'd love to hear from you. So if everyone can just take a moment and reflect on that now, and we'll come back within 1 to 2 minutes just to see if anyone wants to share with us. Okay, was anyone able to draft a SMART goal that they'd like to share with us? Or perhaps something that you're looking forward to working towards this summer?
I don't mind sharing. So one that I wanted to achieve in the next semester, this might sound funny, but I want to become more like independent in my daily life. So like cooking for myself, cleaning, all that. I've never lived by myself, so it'll be a new experience.
Yeah, that's a great one, and definitely relevant, right? So thinking of like, as you're drafting that goal, Matt, like thinking of ways that you can make it even more specific, right? So maybe like, what are some of those measurable tasks that you can do to help achieve that goal? Maybe that means, like you mentioned, like cooking for yourself and becoming more independent. Maybe you make the SMART goal a little bit about like, oh, I plan to, you know, whether it's make dinner 2 times a week. So again, having that measurable component to your goal that's going to help you stay on task.
Got it.
It's a really good one though. And also, like, as you go through more experiences and internships, you're going to gain that sense of independence and confidence as well. So you're going to learn all of these skills that you're going to be able to apply in the real world. So that's a really relevant goal to have. So great work. All right, excellent. So although we don't expect you to complete this entire worksheet, we just asked for you to draft 3 SMART goals. If you'd like to work on them this week and actually send them back to us through email, we'd be happy to help read through those. Or if you're unsure if it is a SMART goal, again, we'd be happy to meet with you one-on-one if you prefer that setting as well. All right, and then Odessa is just going to share a little bit more about the session tomorrow. And in the meantime, these are our social media channels that we have. So we are active on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and this is our general SBS Careers email that you can contact. Or if you prefer to contact each of us individually, we'd love that as well. So Odessa.
Awesome. So tomorrow we will be going over Handshake. So I'll be taking you through the actual Handshake website, which is our internal job posting resource that you all have as UMass students. So I don't know if you all have already logged into that. It's with your net ID and password, just like other websites through UMass. And it's joinhandshake.com. But if you haven't logged on yet oh, perfect. So for tonight, before tomorrow's session or tomorrow morning, if you want to watch that short video that's in the packet that Rachel sent out on Friday, I think it's 3 minutes, just an introduction of what you can do on Handshake. And then if you haven't logged on already, it's umass.joinhandshake.com. If you haven't logged in already, if you just want to log in for the first time, because it'll actually take you through your profile preferences. So right when you log in, it'll walk you through that. And you can pick your preferences. So it'll ask you kind of what you're looking for. Maybe it's an internship that you're looking for right now, maybe in a certain area, or maybe you're open to a lot of different industries and areas, and you can choose a lot of different selections. But just getting in there is going to help frame our conversation for tomorrow. And then we'll walk through all the different things that you can do with Handshake, which is finding jobs, following employers, making appointments with anyone on our team, as well as if you ever want to do an internship for credit, you have to go through Handshake, signing up for career fairs, events. There's a lot on there, so it'll be really helpful to kind of know how to navigate that. So that's just a little pre-work in your packet, and then you'll be all set for tomorrow.
Thank you so much. And also, as we have this resource page up, so this was the email that we sent on Friday, just make sure to go through each of the sessions and just see, like Odessa mentioned, like if there is a little bit of like homework for you to do just to watch an introduction video, or, you know, if we provide like a guide and you'd like to take a look through that prior to our session, so that kind of helps just frame what we'll be talking about. We highly encourage you to just go through this list and take a look at all the different resources that we provided, so you feel the most prepared to engage in our sessions. And does anyone have any questions before we close today? All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time today, and we very much look forward to having you join us throughout the rest of this week's programs. So thank you.
If you have
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.